Hey, it's Lauren. Thank you for joining me. I'm doing another declutter today. I'm going to be going through my eyeshadow palettes. I have not been wearing as much eyeshadow lately. I think it's just, I'm following with the trends, but whatever. I want to get rid of some. I have so many drawers in that thing right there, dedicated to eyeshadows that I can rehome. So I'm gonna rehome them to friends and family. And then eyeshadow palettes that I'm keeping around for just like one or so eyeshadow. I bought a little depotting tool and a magnetic palette. And I'm gonna put those things in there. So yeah, here we go. All right, here is my little chest. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 drawers dedicated to palettes. In my hopes and dreams, we get this down to 2 drawers, but that might be lofty. They aren't the biggest drawers, so there's that. So these originally had somewhat of like a organization order to them. There's still like the essence of that to it. So like this drawer, I had a lot of mainly limited edition and luxury palettes, which kind of still is. And then this drawer was like colorful stuff, but it's honestly a little bit chaotic at this point. So I'm gonna start with this drawer, which will probably be the most disappointing drawer for people who are looking for decluttering stuff, because it's probably things I'm gonna mostly keep. This is one of the newer palettes I've purchased, the Urban Decay Cyber palette. Side note, this is gonna partially turn into a collection video / Lauren's memory lane of cosmetics. So in here, I actually have more than just face palettes. I have this for some reason, which doesn't need to be in there. That's a mascara. Then I have a couple of singles. That's not even an eyeshadow single. That's actually a mini bronzer. That doesn't need to be in here either. Okay, so this is the Charlotte Tilbury Stars in Your Eyes palette. I still get quite a bit of use out of this. It's quite nice, definitely keeping that. This is the face palette. This is the NARS Orgasm palette. This I feel like was so underrated, and if it came out now, it would be way more popular. It's actually a face palette. This, oh my gosh, my daughter has figured out how to open things, and she opened some of these drawers yesterday and pulled this palette out, and it already was not doing so great, but now it's doing very not great. But this is from Kevyn Aucoin. It's a multi-purpose palette, and it is really cool, really pretty. I thought it was like limited edition for holiday, but it seems to be around. I'm keeping it in this because it's a bit busted, but I still really like it. This not Charlotte Tilbury, Pat McGrath palette, I might depot this actually. These shades I don't use too much, but this shade right here is so cool. It's pretty small, so maybe I'll just keep it as in this little thing here. 3CE, delightful palette. This is really pretty, kind of just a wash of color. Of course, I'm going to keep this Pat McGrath palette. This is one of the Astral Blitz, I think, quads. Don't own too many Pat McGrath things. I think I only own 3 Pat McGrath stuff, but this is really beautiful. So I'm definitely keeping that. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm face palette. This is in Lovegasm. I don't know if this is still around or if the one that I'm seeing is a different shade. It might be. I think the other one's called Nudegasm. This is actually really pretty. I'm gonna like put this on my desk to use. This is getting a bit old, but I actually still take this with me places. This is the Instant Look in a Face palette. I think I got this in 2017. I don't know, definitely have gotten my miles out of that. Sad, the Marc Jacobs. These are so good. I really hope Marc Jacobs comes back. I heard things about like their labs or whatnot. Like, I don't know, is the brand dead? But these were so wonderful. I'm gonna keep these. This, gonna keep. This was the Pat McGrath Celestial Divinity palette. Really fun. This, I actually don't know if I'm gonna keep. I might actually depot some shades from it because it's got this really nice gray, actually. It's really pretty. But this is just really bulky. This is for another Kevin Aquan thing, and it has this like liquid shadow that comes with it. I don't know if I actually will depot it or just rehome this. And then these NARS limited edition palettes. This one I haven't actually gotten much use out of, but I really love the NARS formula. And it's got these really cool glitter shades in it. But these both I've gotten tons of wear out of. The Wanted eyeshadow palette. And then the Ignited palette. I love these. So pretty. This drawer, I am probably going to get rid of a lot of stuff. This is the Daydream Believer palette from Glam and Grace. I bought this during the pandemic. I was gonna make like some sort of like new brand video and I just didn't. These aren't remarkable. It's got a cute format, but I don't remember the formula being that remarkable. I like want to give it another try before I get rid of it because I am a stickler for if I spent money on it, I want to, you know. So on the fence. This I should get rid of. This is the Audacity in Paris from Lancome. I was keeping this around mainly for this shade right here. It's actually a wonderful shade for like blending out cooler tone looks. But other than that, everything in this is just not very good. The shimmers are like that shimmer texture. Like, I don't know if anyone else remembers this from like the early 2000s and 1990s or whatever. They always said, once you get over a certain age, you should not wear shimmers. And I think it's because the texture of shimmers used to be absolutely awful. So that's why you couldn't wear them. Anyways, okay, this palette is actually really great. The colors in this are so good. I'm keeping this. This is Pixie, I don't know who that is, but it's some sort of influencer collab. And then these, I think I'm gonna get rid of. This is actually got really cool, beautiful shimmers in it, but I don't use this. And this has some really great cool tones. I did use this actually when I first got it, but I haven't reached for it in, I don't know, years, so those can go. These Wet n Wild palettes, these I'm actually going to depot. The matte shades are meh, whatever, but each of these has a really cool like duochrome shimmer going on. Like this and this I'm gonna definitely keep. And then in this one, all of these shimmers are really good. And then this one is the best one. I don't know if this was like a limited edition thing, but these greens and blues are so cool. Actually, pretty much every shade in this is good except, you know, the transition shade, and I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely depot those, keep those around. Pony Effect Soul. I bought this because I desperately wanted the Modern Renaissance palette. So it was, what was the year? Was it the year was 2016 or maybe even 2015, and the Modern Renaissance palette was nowhere to be found. But that color scheme, you know, it's so whatever now. I have that palette, I'll show it eventually. But that palette was just like such a thing, and I got this because I thought it would be similar. Long story short, it wasn't. I don't use this Pony Effect palette, so it can go. Urban Decay Naked 2, this is so beat up. This, I gotta toss, it's so gross, but this was so good. I don't know if they make this anymore, but you can see how much I loved this. Great, great basics for blending. I had this in like a shimmer palette that I just used to the end. Wow, it is well loved, but I think it can move on. I made this little NYX palette, this little singles thing of greens. I'll see if I have these greens somewhere else. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know I have a love obsession for green eyeshadow, even though I don't wear it much these days. But these, I'm gonna see if I have them duplicated somewhere else before I get rid of that. This, Elizabeth Arden This is surprisingly great. Can these be depotted? This might not be able to be depotted, but these purples are beautiful. Really, really creamy. All right, these I'm definitely getting rid of this one, the Magnificent Eyes from Rimmel. I have these shades other places. Don't need to keep them around. This one though also has some really neat grungy greens. So I'm gonna see if I have those, and I might depot these. That mustard yellow is pretty cool too. So I'm gonna see. These are a blast from the past. What year were these even? 2015 or 2016? The Urban Decay Gwen Stefani collab. I got the blush palette first, and none of these looked good on me at all. These all looked terrible on me. And then I got the palette when it went on sale, and I mainly just used these 3 shades. The shimmers were not that great. Yeah, but this shade, specifically Anaheim, is the shade that I use, and I think, is that a permanent shade? Well, regardless, I don't use it anymore. Haven't picked this up in years, but this I'm gonna get rid of. Gonna get rid of both of these. All right, this Huda Beauty nude palette. I actually think I'm gonna depot this. Some of these shades are really fun, and this palette is like way more vibrant than it looks. It looks way more muted, but like this, so much brighter on the eye than it actually seems. This Balm palette, I've mainly been keeping this for sentimental reasons at this point. I got this on a trip to San Francisco, and it came with these little like brow and eyeliner guides, and like it was a multi-purpose palette, so you could like use these brown shades in your brows as well as eyeliner. Just didn't use this very much. I think I might depot some of these shades, but for the most part, I don't know. I'm feeling sentimental at the moment, so I'll hold off just yet. This I'll get rid of. This is the Carly Bible palette, and some of these shades were actually really nice, really pretty. Nice cool tone palette. I actually use this decently. I got it for free in like a event gift bag, so it's not like I bought it. I didn't feel bad about how I used it, but I don't use this, so. And it's huge. It's taking up a lot of space, so it's gonna go. What's supposed to be like my colorful palettes drawer. I have 2 of these Clarisite palettes. Actually, no, that's a lie. I have 3 of them. These are all awesome. I actually use these quite a bit for work stuff. So I have this. This is really beautiful pastels. And then this is a bit more grungy. And then this is all for water paints. Water paints? It's for painting on your face, so really fun. Keeping those. I have 2 Odin's Eye palettes. I bought these during the pandemic, before the brand really exploded, and now they're everywhere. And I was just enamored by them. I thought they were really beautiful, and they are really pretty, but I just don't use them. This yellow is really great. And then in this palette here, this one, this blue shade is really pretty. I really like this like limey shimmer shade, but I have some singles that are similar to this. So these are really pretty, but I don't use them, and I think my niece would love this. She's a teenager, and I think this is totally her aesthetic, so I will be giving them to her. The Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette, I honestly bought this because it was on sale. That's to be honest, and I haven't used it much. I haven't had it for very long, and I haven't been wearing as much eyeshadow lately, so it's not like a fair judge. Some shades are not even touched yet. Definitely want to play with this some more. Has some really cool shades. Another Huda Beauty palette. I have more Huda than I thought. This is the Neon palette. I think this is discontinued. There seems to be a class action suit actually against these eyeshadow palettes. I got like an email like, if you bought one of these, you maybe can partake in this. This is awesome and a lot of fun. Unique shade, so I'll be keeping that. The Myron Makeup, another kind of fun artsy paint palette. I'm keeping that. The ColourPop Blue Moon. This actually has some really beautiful blue shades in it. I got a lot of use out of this like the first year or two that I had it, so I'm gonna keep this for now. The Muse Beauty Impressions palette. I'm on the fence about keeping this. It's got some fun shades in it, but I'm gonna compare it to some of my other colorful palettes and see. I don't know if I'll keep this. They actually rebranded and they have some other name now. I don't remember what it is from the rebrand. So I'm a little bit on the fence about keeping this palette. The Sephora Pro palette, this I got so much use out of. Did I get this in 2016? 17? Yeah, I don't know when. This has so many fun shades in it. So many combos I did with this. And then these are all like these like fun kind of ethereal looking shades that you can like put on as toppers. The Lime Crime Venus palette. I got this before I knew about all of the controversy of this brand, but this palette is so beautiful. This is such an awesome green shade and the shimmers in this are so cool. I read somewhere that Lime Crime is like rebranding in a way where they're like slashing their prices. I wonder if the packaging will change, even though like their packaging is cardboard as it is. But yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if we'll see that happen with some more brands. Like that sort of like mid-range luxury pricing is so rampant. There's so many brands that are like that, that having brands that are more affordably priced, I feel like there's not a huge market and we might be seeing more competition for soon. I don't know. All right, and the last drawer, this has a variety of palettes in it. At first I was like neutrals, but no, it just seems to be just a rando. The Tartelette in Bloom palette. This I would have to say is my most favorite palette because it is my most used palette. Look at that. This is what I used on my wedding day. If I find that they are discontinuing this, I will go out and buy it. These deep shades are so awesome for doing eyeliner with. I really like these shimmers. Obviously I like blending with those. Clearly, I love this palette. I have this Revlon cream palette. Oh, this opens differently than I thought it would. The mirrors on the bottom. These were basically what I wore in high school. Not the same one that I had in high school, but these were such a mainstay of the early 2000s, late 90s. Okay, this Lorac Pro palette, I have mainly just been using these shades to blend things, and I think I have those other places, so I think I can get rid of this palette safely. All right, 2 Urban Decay palettes. Urban Decay Naked 2, I feel like I have to keep this just for the sentimental feelings, but I got this before I even really got into makeup. This was like one of the like bridges to getting really into makeup. I loved it. Urban Decay Heat. It's actually a really awesome palette, and I use this actually pretty frequently, especially this Ember shade is a really awesome one and done eyeshadow. Okay, I have a bunch of Ether Beauty eyeshadows. During my year of really sad and not being into makeup and internet and stuff, I guess Ether Beauty rebranded and they have a different name now, and like none of these eyeshadow palettes, which is sad because these are great. There's the original Rose Quartz palette, which they've redone. I saw that they like dropped the price point, which is smart because these are really expensive, but it seems like you also get fewer eyeshadows now. But this eyeshadow palette is lovely. The Joshua Tree palette has some amazing fun matte shades. This Desert Summer Solstice or whatever palette is also really good. You can see I've used these quite a bit. The purple palette I haven't used as much, but I still love the shades in it. These shades here are really fun, and that is an awesome cool tone matte shade. And this is the least used out of all of them. This is, which one was this? This is the Crystal Grid palette. And then lastly, I have a bunch of Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. The Modern Renaissance, I referenced briefly there, talking about how this was such a revolutionary palette. It's funny to think about because this is such a like whatever color scheme, but this is iconic. The Subculture palette, also amazing. This Jackie Aina palette is so good too. This shade is so awesome, as is this one. All the shimmers in this are really cool. It's great. Soft Glam palette. I think I might get rid of this palette. I don't really use it. I'm gonna double check to see if Dusty Rose is in any other one of these palettes. I think it is, because that's like the best shade that I use. And then the Norvina palette. I might also get rid of this, but I do like this shade here. So maybe I will depot this. These are all gotten like super messy. Don't really use. All right, as I'm like putting stuff away, I actually think I'm gonna pass on this Pixie palette. Don't need these. I think I have these in other stuff. So I'm going to pass this on. Not the final best way to organize these. These drawers are honestly not the best for eyeshadow storage, to be fair. I constantly am forgetting what I have because of how it's all stacked. So I'm actually gonna get a desk here soon, and now I'm probably gonna transfer some stuff into there. Anyways, I'm trying to figure out how to make this look good. So for the time being, I did knock this down to only 3 drawers. So some fancier ones, some more colorful things, and then a bunch of these, I don't know how to describe it, brands together, and then this palette that I use all the time. So I did successfully get rid of about 1 drawer's worth of products. So here are the things I'm going to depot. These, I'm gonna depot, oh yes, and I'm gonna actually depot some of the stuff that is in here, like some of the Anastasia palettes. And then here's everything that is gonna go away. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Not the most cutthroat of declutters. Yes, I attach sentimental value to everything, but maybe I'll show my little depot palette when I finally get around to doing that. Don't have time today, but hopefully in the future. Okay, I hope you all are well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.